President Donald Trump has drawn attention to claims that the government of Venezuela has been involved in rigging elections in the United States and other countries. How familiar are you with these claims about Venezuela rigging elections? And it's a majority of Americans. This is kind of wild. If you haven't seen it, though, this is like first kind of one of the things that we could be dealing with.
Is Trump going to start a war in Venezuela?
I don't know. I don't know when this program airs, the one that we're on right now. This thing's maybe live.
We're live now, and then it'll be posted immediately. So now,
my sense is, I don't know the answer. I've certainly been on the phone a lot about it. I have no power. I'm a podcaster, but I'm very interested. And so here's what I know so far, which is that members of Congress were briefed yesterday that a war is coming, and it'll be announced in the address to the nation tonight at 9:00 by the president. Who knows, by the way, if that will actually happen? I don't know. And I never want to overstate what I know, which is
so he's getting sources that there's going to be a declaration of war. Now, the president doesn't declare war, but that we're going to be going after Venezuela. Now, I don't know how much news that is, because they've been talking about preparing for kinetic strikes for a very long time. He's been out there saber rattling. Hopefully, if they do this, there's some justification, and hopefully it's election integrity stuff. Now, this is kind of interesting. Give me a second to do this, but we actually polled on this. So this is one of the things that I thought maybe we could look at before this whole speech starts. And that's about Venezuela, because it's kind of like weird to me that nobody really cared that much. A lot of people do, but this is not like the same level of like, we need to get out of Ukraine yesterday. And interestingly, I think a massive number of Republicans who thought, I think it was like over 90%, who thought that Zelensky was using the war in order to escape democratic elections, which is really strange signal. And also Republicans by over 60% said that we've done too much for Ukraine. And Democrats over 60% say we've not done enough. So that's a little bit of a stalemate. President Donald Trump has drawn attention to claims that the government of Venezuela has been involved in rigging elections in the United States and other countries. How familiar are you with these claims about Venezuela rigging elections? And it's a majority of Americans. This is kind of wild. You remember, and maybe this is like a polling thing too, because these people are likely voters. So your average likely voter is going to know more than your average American about things like this. And, but maybe because we're asking them to give up their time, they're a little bit more civic minded, likely voters. But election integrity has been a very big issue for Americans. When we had as many as 66% of people thinking the outcome of 2020 was affected by cheating, and I think it was 64% who thought that 2024 was going to be affected by cheating right before the election. So 51% are familiar with the claims that Venezuela is stealing our elections, and only, 43% aren't. But what's kind of wild is that a lot of Democrats are 44%, but it's like 61% of Republicans. So this is something people are paying attention to. And again, Republicans are increasingly anti-war, but they're not anti-war. They still support, by a majority, boots on the ground for Israel, less so for Ukraine, but they are still militaristic. They want to save people. Like, this is still part of the Republican Party. They think that there's something here. This is like, there's smoke here. But what I thought was wild is the 18 to 29s, who by far more than the other age brackets said that there was something going on here. 56% of these people are familiar. Only 37% are not. And so we're starting to see the internet effect, right? So I think this is something that people have been talking about mostly on places like Twitter. Based on what you know, how likely is it that Venezuela actually was involved in rigging elections in the United States of America? And only 15% say very likely, but like almost 4 in 10, 38% say likely, 47% don't, but it's 59% of Republicans. So almost 6 in 10 Republicans say likely. And it's pretty flat across age, but the Zoomers, 43%, 42%, whatever, 42% of millennials. The Zoomers are basically split on it. So, that's something you won't see really anywhere. And it might be one of the reasons that people are a little bit more chill about this. So hopefully we'll see something about that